Hey, Rob. How's it going? I don't know if you're going to hear me or not, or if you're muted, or...
I was muted.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Maha? That probably explains why no one was talking back. Whatever.
No big deal. This is like, usually say hello, so maybe he's muted.
Yeah, the mic has a mute button.
Mm. It's kind of an interesting idea for a new design for him. I like that. He has the staff on his back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be kind of cool. Your roughy silhouettes on these are kind of interesting because they're not as like some of the ones you do are like very kind of really filled in. These are I like how these are just kind of like blah.
Depends on. It just depends on the day.
Yeah, I'll still I'm
There's
just
really
saying I
no
kind of
rhyme
like
or
how they're
reason to
just.
it.
I think they look
I
kind of
have
neat.
I have attempted to be consistent, and life will not allow me to do that.
Gave up.
Yeah.
Gave up long ago.
Some people go, so why did you do this one drawing and that one? I don't know. That's what I felt like that day. Like there really is no.
No, I just think it
There
looks
is.
fun. That's all. That's all I meant. Is I think the figure design looks fun. So I think it feels like a cartoon, which is what I like. I'm gonna try to get my blobby silhouettes kind of that way too, just to really blob them out there and just kind of have fun with them. You're right. Maybe I'm a pain in the ass. This is what you and your brother did. No, it's not. I put chicken in the oven. Of course, the two cats go crazy. They're like, "Oh, it's for us." I'm like, "Yes, it's frozen. I'm sure you'll love it."
Right.
I mean, they're going to get some of it because I can't say no to the two little bastards. But hey, the Red Ranger came out looking fun.
Getting there. Some dude was like, looks like you just had an excuse to draw Spider-Man with the Power Rangers Commission. So I sent him a fucking gif of the Spider-Man 70s mech. And I'm like, well, now I'm double down. Like now that you brought it up, like
Who said that?
some dick on Facebook.
Apparently
So it was
so.
someone with the halo on their fucking avatar and shit.
Yeah. I
I'm like,
mean,
go. You're fucking with the wrong dude, bro. Like I lean into it. Like, yeah, Marvel '70s Marvel beat me to that shit. 40 years ago. What do you?
Yeah, I'm all for that.
They literally worked a mech into a Spider-Man show. Like, you want to fucking
Yep.
start? Like,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, that was a draw
it's,
stream earlier today. It was
it's almost like they just worked in kids in the Saved by the Bell to get this fucking thing in America. While we're at it. Like,
yeah.
why didn't they just release it in the original Japanese if it was so? You see what
Oh,
I mean? Like this sort of thing doesn't really.
yeah.
It's just like,
Well,
oh, look clever, clever guy.
yeah. Yeah, I don't it's like whatever. I mean, I think it's kind of fun that you're doing it this way because it's different. And well, they look
I,
more like cartoon characters, so I love cartoons. My mother was like, "Are you still watching cartoons?" Yes, because they're entertaining.
yeah, why she fucking turns on what? All in the Family? That's really realistic.
Um, no, my
Billy?
mother
What was
recognizes that she has certain tastes that are
I
like,
Dream a Genie? Was that
yeah,
was that was that realistic television?
yeah,
It's not just a live
exactly.
action cartoon. How far back you want to go? Honeymooners? I mean, they made a whole cartoon called the Flintstones. It's so cartoony. They made a cartoon
Yeah, about it. Called
about
the
it.
Flintstones, and they made another one called the Jetsons. So,
Like it's yeah, but George wasn't as violent to his wife as
no, it
Fred
wasn't.
was. Yeah.
But yeah,
It's always funny when people say that. I'm like, well, maybe if your generation hadn't created cartoons, we wouldn't be watching them. So I used to tell my grandfather,
no,
I see these
no,
things came out in like the 20s and 30s. That's about when you were running around, so it's your fault.
yeah. I no, she's just like, "Are you still watching cartoons?" Like, I was over there and I was like watching something, and I was like, I don't remember what it was. I think it was like an episode of Avatar or something like that. And I'm like, "Yeah, still watch cartoons. You still watching Jersey Shore?" She's like, check in, mate. All right." So it didn't bother me after that.
There's nothing worse than unscripted television.
Yeah. My mother even says these shows are terrible and I can't stop watching them. She's like, it's a train wreck. I can't stop watching them.
Yeah, they've supplanted
Yeah.
their soaps.
Yeah. Even then she's not like that religious with them anymore or anything. She's like she doesn't care as much. But she has a couple that she watches that are just kinda like, yeah, these are just too funny. Like everybody needs their popcorn crap that doesn't that's just meaningless. I don't like unscripted TV. I understand why it makes so much money. It's super easy to film. Uh,
Yeah, well, I already knew Netflix was on its way out when they doubled down on unscripted television. I was like, yep, that's how it always goes.
yep. This is there's certain things I think are kind of interesting to see. Like I like some of the home repair shows and things. I like to see when they take something from that's beaten to hell and then turn it around.
I
But I get bored
guess,
with that
yeah.
real easy too. So
I used to try to make the case for some of it because Master Chef Australian shit, but I recognize it's still a bullshit game show. However, I also know that 99% of the world doesn't. And so like Kyle, had to shoot like on Hell's Kitchen and stuff like that, and he was just like, look, Ramsay was great, but the shit
yeah,
they would make me do, like I mean, none of this shit real. And I'm like, I get
right.
you.
A friend of mine, he knew somebody who was on one of those reality shows about losing weight and everything. and he was like invited to like one of the final tapings, and they're bringing people out and stuff to, um, you know, show off all the weight loss and all that people did. And the director came out, and he's just like, he goes, "Welcome to live TV, folks. So when we shoot unscripted shows, the first thing you're going to learn is nothing in TV is fast. We're going to take these same scenes multiple times
Yeah.
and still edit in the best shots. Nothing in TV is fast." So he's just like, "I didn't realize they did that stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, that's how it works." She's like, "You do work for a TV studio. You do know this stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah. I've also seen it when they film game shows there and other such things. Game shows are actually pretty good, though."
Yeah, I used to go see Jeopardy at Culver City.
I've never seen like one of any of the bigger ones. I mean, I've just seen the ones that like they shot for PBS at the station I worked at, which was mostly the kid show ones, like the trivia ones where the high schools go up against each other and stuff like that. Sometimes they had junior high and elementary schools doing it, but it was usually high schools, and those were kind of fun. Then again, PBS is a little bit better than most other networks. Oh. I swear the two cats, their sole desire today is to see how long it takes for me to have a nervous breakdown. So, oh, 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 the sounds of emergency vehicles shooting by my house. This is one of those times I miss the fact when I used to live in absolutely the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I normally never stream these lobbies, but some people were asking me, and I was like, "Well, fine, I'll show you what it's like. Is it fun to watch? Because I don't know. Like, it's not
Oh,
fun.
this stuff?
I did.
Oh,
I
as
tend to
soon as I
not
came
like.
on, I saw you were doing this. I was like, "Oh, cool!
In case
It's
people
kind
think
of
I'm
like
over here tracing 3D fucking models. Like it'd be a lot faster. Like, I still think it's faster than endlessly drawing scribbles. Depends on when I'm warmed up. Like right now, I hadn't drawn it all day, so it's just like. Plus, I don't know what I want to do. I just know that I can't mirror. I don't like the pose I came up with, and I don't want to mirror the leg joints. So like, plus I'm trying to do something that if this is like an idea. It's not like a destination. So it's like I'm trying to do something a little different.
hmm. Rob Missoula just put out a video. I don't know if he just put it out. He put out a video about using 3D models as like a guide.
I hate it.
Um,
I don't agree with any of it.
I don't know.
I get why people do it, but I think it's why they're replacing you as an artist, and it's why
Hmm.
comics suck now. I couldn't imagine fucking Bill Watterson using a 3D model to draw fucking Calvin.
Yeah, I
So
don't.
I'd rather people's incorrect shorthand than correct fucking 3D model anatomy. So now the computers are doing the work, you know,
Oh yeah. Well, he was
and
saying that
everyone.
you still you can't just trace them because they look too fake and crappy.
Yeah, but they will. Like that's it. That's the end of the story. People will
Yeah,
just
that's
trace
true.
them. That's it. And there's and I don't short anyone for doing it. That's their job. I just creatively just agree with any all of it.
That's
You
fine.
know. So there's no room. And I've seen what's happened when you go to buy comics. Like I don't know why I don't like this comic. I could tell you why you don't like the comic anymore because it has no imprint.
Yeah, it
They
has no
all
life.
look like they all look like vague packaging art on uh, like modern coloring books and backpacks and fucking shit. You know,
Yep.
like just this like generic super rendered shit. You know, like we'll get done faster. I'm like, well then maybe make less comics and pay people more. I don't know what the fucking answer is, you know? Like
Yep.
but I've seen what's happened and it hasn't turned out well. It's like when I read a comic, I'm like, wow, everything in here is just a 3D render. I'm like, then why didn't the writer just learn to do this? Like I'm struggling to figure out,
Yeah.
like the the theory here, Some people are like, well, it's hard to learn. I'm like, yeah, it's hard to learn.
And that's
Like part, and
why.
then but they also want to know like, well, how do you develop style? Well, style sometimes is shorthand. When something didn't work the hard way, I found a simpler way to do it. That didn't fucking, and that you're cheating yourself of finding your own inner voice when you do that. And so now, rather than me sit here and learn, anytime I change a pose, I'm learning something. Like whether you see it or not, like I'm learning like some perspective above and below horizon, whatever I'm doing, gestural. If you're just moving buttons, you're just learning an app. Like
Mhm.
if I just keep click button, maybe I'll fucking randomly get there. Like maybe the computer will generate an idea, and I come from watching game development, like watching a studio that leaned on that versus a studio that didn't. Like there's a reason why fucking games like Overwatch, like take forever because they're endlessly fucking doing options when people are button clicking things versus just drawing some fucking cool shit.
Yeah. No, I'm much more into the drawing some cool shit. I mean, that's why I do it. And I'd rather do stuff kind of like the way you're doing the layouts. Like watching you do this helps me. It gives me like, oh, I didn't think to look at it like that. I love watching people do like the construction stuff and things to see how they do it. To be like, oh, I never thought to do it like that. Maybe I should try something like that. And then I make it my own.
It just reminds me of like it's another version of when I was going to AI and they were just like, we'll teach you to fucking blah 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 blah, and it's like at the end of the day, most people really aren't, and they just got ripped off, and so now you just see a bunch of like training courses, whatever you want. And it's just like, here's the secrets to making manga, blah 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 blah. And it's like, all right, how about you tell people the real secrets to making manga? How like there's like a lot of the bigger books have dozens of
Team.
assistants that do the most of the fucking work. You know what I mean? Like, why
Yeah.
don't you just stop lying? Like, you
Secret to
know,
making manga: get like 30 people together, and
or
everybody
just
has one job.
have some serious talent, kill yourself. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's just some other days, man, it's taking a while. I'm like, well, I'm under no fucking particular deadline. So like, you'll see how much work I can get when there's a deadline. But what I have learned is when there aren't deadlines, don't do more work at the same pace because you're gonna be fucked up when the time comes to get shit done. So that's something else that I've had to teach myself. Like you can produce at that level all the time and then give yourself carpal tunnel and burnout, you know? Or you
Mhm.
can like use your break periods to like logically think through why you're doing things. Again, 3D models don't work into it for me. It was weird, when we're at bring up t-shirts again, you get these like style guys at Marvel. And style guys, sometimes it's just images that appear on the server. But like you're like, okay, we can use these images. You go through and you hit to the people who are using 3D models as figure. None of those will sell on a shirt ever.
Hmm. Not
Ever.
surprising.
They do not work. Like go put a trace 3D model on a t-shirt and see who buys it. Doesn't work. And you're like, well, why? I'm like, because there's something impersonal about it. And images, especially on clothing, need to kind of like fold and they have to look relaxed in a way. And the more stiff and the more fucking generous, it just doesn't work. Like there is something to it, and there's something that goes beyond um, what do you call it? It goes beyond the apparent. There's something else,
Yeah. Well, I
you
mean, it's
know.
like you watch like the latest special effects extravaganza movie or whatnot, and be like, okay, where's the CGI? And usually you can pick it out almost immediately in most scenes. What's cool is when they use it for background effects and your eye glances off of it because it's supposed to look mechanical. So you see it as mechanical and don't pay attention. Like when they add extra cars on the highway for car chases, stuff like that. Like a lot of people don't realize that some of those cars are CGI. Uh,
Well, now that the lighting algorithms are so good that if all that stuff's built into one volume, the actors are keyed to it. It's just the lighting. So a lot of CGI monsters, when you take skin and translucency and all those things away, lighting is why generally you don't fucking believe it's real. Like I was watching my wife react to the latest episode of Moon Knight, and she's like getting all like, "Whoa!" Whoa, whoa," and I'm like, "There's nothing realistic about these little CGI effects they're doing, but because they put them slightly out of shadow, slightly out of focus, wrap it around some shadow and get the lighting right, then it all works." Like this is why I don't agree when films go, everything's gonna go, we're gonna have everything in focus. It's like don't do
Yeah,
everything in
no,
focus. Then everyone's paying attention to the wrong things, and really that's kind of like the Lucas ILM. Like, let's show them everything we can do so we can put a big spread in Cinefex, or whatever else to win an award or to get more money. It's just like, anyways, to
yeah,
get back to the whole whatever. It's just like I see friends doing it, and then here's what's funny is I have friends that really lean on CG models, and you give it a few years, eventually they hit me up and go, "Man, how do I like improve this?" And I'm like, "Stop tracing over that stuff." Like if you're stuck, I get it, but what you're doing is you're cheating yourself. You haven't been able to find your own voice. And now you're like, "How can I find my voice doing this?" And I'm like, "You can't." Because it's a handcrafted thing. And you're not moving your hand. Even that's why some of the better sculpts, like when you see like ZBrush, it's like it's a guy actually sculpting it, but you're still at the mercy of. I wonder like if that, as great as that sculpt is, and I like the way it looks, had the person been able to spend some time on their own time doing that shit with actual fucking mold clay, they probably would have arrived at different shapes. So sometimes when I'm doing little sketches, it's because I wouldn't have arrived at shapes. Even here with the blobby, like the blobbies are not a trace.
no.
Like the worst thing you could do is fucking do like a blobby like this and then go, well, this is the hand and the arm goes just like this. Like no, it's just to give me. Think about it like you ever do a sketch and you draw off the page.
Oh yeah,
It's just there to give you boundaries, you know, so you're not drawing insanely off the page, you know. And so I'm not spending a lot of time drawing a bunch of lines I'm never going to use.
yeah, yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Why you use the blobby to set down and just like set your pose and your figure and all that. It's kind of why I do it. I stole it from you. Oh, there's my buddy Doc. Oh, Doc is a painter and a comic artist. I'll be doing some color work for him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, God help him. Color work and lettering. Yeah. So I told you, Rob, I share out your stream.
Always appreciated.
Yeah, I was hanging out with Doc earlier on a stream today. We need to do a meeting at some point. We're going to go over the colors and everything. And one of these days, I need to make a color guide for my main character. That would probably prove useful.
Oh, what swatches and stuff.
Yeah, so I know what the hell I'm doing. I can just grab those and use them. Like, how did I blend to get that color? Uh, what did I use? Well, thanks, Doc. I appreciate that. Hmm. Yeah, I'm sure. That looks pretty cool too. I like that pose. Jump down for it. What was it? My best friend just got a she just got a PS5, so she's like, it says transferring everything from my PS4 over. How long did that take you? And I'm like, I don't know. I just had to go, and then I went and got something to eat. So, like, oh, all right then. 12 minutes left on food. Then I get to check out to make sure it's ready to eat since it was frozen. Yes, I know you'll eat it. Run with the no Green Ranger. I figure he's coming eventually.
I already put out the layout like 2 years ago, so you can dig it up.
What?
Ron, you can dig it up. There's a layout.
Oh. Oh, good. Cat TV got the cat's attention. Yeah, life isn't fair. You know the fun thing of rotate the picture.
Yeah, I don't really do tutoring, my friend. Sorry.
Hmm?
Chat.
Oh, let's see. Sorry, I was watching you. If you want to go for art advice, tomorrow on my station with Peter Palmiotti, we are having Clayton Barton from howtodrawcomics.net on. And he does tutoring and everything with art, so that would be a cool place to go if you're interested. That's we use Peter Palmiotti's YouTube station, so it's just YouTube/Peter Palmiotti. I think it might be Peter Retro Palmiotti. I can't remember. But just look up Peter Palmiotti. It's like Palm then Miotti. And we call it Making Art and Comics. Peter has a much more traditional Marvel style, and I have what I refer to as East meets West. So, but yeah, and Clayton Barton's an amazing artist, so having him on should be pretty cool. But we answer questions and give advice. But Clayton literally runs a channel all about making comics. Okay, these two are swarming me. I'm gonna drop out for a bit. Actually, my D&D game is coming up soon too, so I'm gonna drop out for a bit. I gotta figure out what the hell's up with these two cats. They're literally all over me.
Yep.
So I'll bug you later, Rob.
Later.
All right, have a good one. Bye.
I don't know why this isn't working in my head so well today, but it happens. Today's gonna be one of them fucking days, isn't it? All right, buddy. I need to go take a 5 minute break, dude. Kind of recenter my head. No offense. I like Allison, but all the cats and the sirens and shit, it threw me off. I can't be happy. I gotta talk to her about that. Like, I appreciate it. I like hanging out, but I can't deal with a lot of that. It's a little too much for me. So I'm not gonna take a 5 minute on my own. You know what I mean? And if I feel like streaming, I'll come back. But I need to like recenter my brain. So I'll be back.